For days, his identity was a mystery. A middle-aged man with a tattoo of a lizard or a gecko on his right shoulder. He was found dead in London's picturesque Regent's Canal. His decomposing body, partially submerged, was tied to a shopping trolley. Police had taken fingerprints from the hand of the decomposed body and showed his name was Sebastiano Magnini, who was 46 years old and an Italian art thief. His body was found in September 2015, and he'd been living in London, and he was one of the men behind a brazen theft almost 22 years ago of a masterpiece from an unguarded church in his native Venice. Magnanini, along with two accomplices, took the altarpiece painting from Santa Maria della Fava Church in Venice in December the 15th, 1993. The church had been left unlocked, and the case prompted much debate about the security of religious buildings in Italy at the time. The artwork was found months later near the Marco Polo airport. The case was handled by anti-Mafia investigators who suspected the involvement of the Mafia clan of the Venetian Riviera. 3 months later, in 1994, they were arrested and charged with aggravated theft. Magnanini and his two accomplices confessed and revealed the hiding place of the painting in a warehouse near the airport, wrapped in a sheet, damaged only by a fold. Police were able to recover it before it was cut into 4 pieces and sold on. He was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment in 1998. The painting that was originally stolen, The Education of the Virgin, by Battista Tiepolo. The story of St. Anne teaching her daughter Mary about the Bible only developed in the 11th century AD, and it's not mentioned in the Gospel of James, which is the main source of information about Mary's youth. In contrast, the Gospel of James mentions that Mary lived with the priests at the temple between her 3rd and 12th year. The only skill of Mary mentioned in the Gospel is that she was good at weaving, but the 11th century logic told priests and scholars that, as the mother of Jesus, Mary also had to be able to read and to be knowledgeable about the Bible, and so artists in the next centuries started to depict St. Anne teaching Mary about the Bible. So I was an Italian art thief living in London as a carpenter. What was he actually doing? He'd been living and working out South London for several months after having travelled around Colombia, Cambodia and Thailand. He had previously lived in London in 2002. A post-mortem had found his death is unknown. But in an amazing turn of events, in 2015, 3 men admitted dumping the body of the Italian art thief. Michael Walsh, 41, and Paul Williams, 64, appeared at Blackfriars Court for sentencing after pleading guilty to preventing the lawful burial of a body. Walsh of Islington, London, and Daniel Hasty, 22, also pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud after clearing Mr. Magnini's account of more than £1,900. Hasty also faced charges of possessing an offensive weapon after he used a wooden pole and a metal chain to threaten another person. Walsh had met Magnini, who was known to struggle with a dope addiction, on September the 22nd. The Italian was trying to buy at the King's Cross area in London. Walsh took Magnanini back to his flat so they could use. On discovering there was £1,900 in his account, over the next 18 hours, he proceeded to empty it. He recruited Hasty on the promise of a new tracksuit and trainers to help make withdrawals, and was seen withdrawing cash from several branches. A total of 61 transactions were taken out on the card, although some were declined due to withdrawal limits. By lunchtime September the 23rd, the account had been emptied, and Walsh returned to his flat and discovered Magnanini had died. He said he panicked and left the flat again, where he bumped into Williams, who later helped him dispose of the body. Magnanini's hands and feet were tied together in the fetal position to a trolley, which was then weighted down with dumbbells. Magnanini, after a few days, was found by a horrified passerby and his 7-year-old child near the entrance of the Islington Tunnel, close to King's Cross, shortly after 9 AM that same day. Sentencing the trio, Judge John Hillen called the act preventing the lawful burial of the body a serious distasteful offence that caused great distress to Magnanini's family. He sentenced Walsh to 4 years in jail, Williams to 2 years, and Hastie to 12 months.